Actually, there was a complete review done of Darlie's case through the Conviction Integrity Unit with the Dallas DA that he created. He looked at it just like he looks at any other cases.
And there was not any solid DNA that they could run. So with the Conviction Integrity Unit, they really focused initially on anybody that had a source of DNA that had not been tested.
And what did you, now, you keep explaining that there were some blood samples and stuff that weren't tested. Wouldn't Craig Watkins have known about that? Or is this something new evidence? Wouldn't he have known about that? That's what I want to ask you.
Most of those cases were rape cases because semen was such a rich source of DNA. Darlie did not have any collected semen samples from her crime scene.
When Dr. Dillon wrote down for the physical rape exam, and they did collect some stuff and send it to Baylor, and the report was, if there is anything positive, please give us a call. Would that mean that there was nothing positive for Baylor to call about, or is there some evidence that you feel like has been hidden?
And basically the only samples that they did collect were Darlie and the boy's blood. There was a couple crucial areas that they did not test the blood drops, which we feel like they should have, but those weren't sampled. Can
you explain what those crucial areas are? I probably you're going to say the blood that Cron didn't see on the utility room door. Could you explain that?
They're collected, so we can't test them now. So, yes, indeed, Watkins did, I guess, at least very superficial.
What do you mean by superficially here? Do you mean a minor, quick glance? Not a very deep investigation? Is that what you mean by superficially here? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. But you told me superficial meant where the wounds were. But now you're describing it the way it should be described, as very minimal. Superficially, you're saying here is he did a very minimal look at her case, but he did not.
Look at the case. I know that him and my mother actually had a conversation about it, but without having that third-party DNA.
Right. The third-party DNA is what she needs under Chapter 64 to prove actual innocence. That's the only thing that's going to get her released from there is actual innocence.
In order to test, they didn't really have a lot of option to do much with Darlie's case. So
they didn't have an option to do. Did he say that, hey, we don't have enough? What did he say?
He wasn't able to do anything on it. However, that does not take away from the fact that he implemented, created, and basically developed from the ground up this major concept where convictions can be inaccurate. And
well, there's always been people who spoke out for the innocence of other people, and there are people that are convicted right now that did not commit the crime. So he built this integrity unit to track it out, and he's actually gotten some people released. But they took a look at Darlie's case, and no. But we'll get into that more in a minute.
Because of his progressive thinking and his experience with wrongful convictions and seeing things that he felt like definitely were wrongful convictions, because of that, he has given the community an opportunity to correct what has been wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the justice system sucks. Look at the Ethan Couch case. Look at the word they used to describe him. It's not even a medical term. Or that kid killed 4 people. There's also people that have committed crimes that have gotten out of it and got back out, got out and did it again. There's also been people that have been exonerated that turned around and did things again. Craig Watkins felt like there are some people that are just innocent, and he wanted to help prove it, and he looked at Darlie's case, and he couldn't prove it. She said there was no third-party blood present. There's no semen present. There's no evidence of an intruder. And that's what Craig Watkins saw.
And I don't care if he was ever able to help Darlie or not. Alone, by itself, the fact that he held the criminal integrity unit.
Craig Watkins also worked deeply with the Texas Innocence Project. I believe this fellow's name was Jeff Blackburn. Could be wrong about his last name. But the Texas Innocence Project would never touch Darlie's case. The Dallas DA compounded her conviction, and the Innocence Project would not touch it for nothing. In fact, they got angry with us as supporters calling them so much. Why?
It's enough that he deserves my respect and everybody else's respect. What he did was instrumental.
He does deserve respect for putting people away that deserve to be put away and keeping people put away that deserve to be kept put away.
In providing an opportunity, a pathway for those that were wrongfully convicted. So, there's your response. I still think he's a wonderful man. I think he was far too...
And I appreciate your response. I'm not here to bicker with you, but, however, we're back to that word superficially again. And see the way you used it here? Now, Craig Watkins was a good man, and he did help get people out of prison. People that deserve to get out. Now, James Crumb was also a good man. Doug Mulder was also a good man. Are you guys going to be happy when Greg Davis dies? You have told me that media has gotten things wrong. Don't listen to the media. Would that mean we shouldn't listen to The Last Defense? Would that mean that we shouldn't read anything that Kathy Cruz writes out of Texas Hood News or Dateline Purgatory? I'm just asking questions. And I was looking for the actual statement that Craig Watkins wrote regarding the in-depth investigation into the integrity of Darlie Routier's conviction, and I have not yet been able to find that paper. But this was written by Pamela Lakes Collins back in 2008 regarding that. And she has his actual statement. I've seen the paper before. I've got it somewhere. But I can't sit long enough to dig. So I asked why the Innocence Project of Texas wanted nothing to do with Darlie's case. They didn't. And Craig Watkins feels the same way. Okay, and this explains. She's got an article here. Now, what he says, a public statement, is this administration has reviewed the case and we have no doubt about Ms. Routier's guilt. We are confident that the new testing will reaffirm the jury's decision. It looks like Watkins knows what innocent is and he knows what guilty is. And as far as that fingerprint, 85J, the 2 lifts that were taken, we have to remember that this Jantz report, this was one of Darlie's paid experts. I just wanted to put that out there about that fingerprint 85J that once I was accused of being the person that deposited it there. When I go back to this. Danelle, I appreciate all of your responses and your civility during this whole thing, and I'll try to keep myself that way too. Richard Burr was one of the, I believe he was an appellate attorney that was assigned to Darlie's case after, I think it was his name Steve Frost, one of her appellants had passed away, and they put Richard Burr there. There's this letter that Richard Burr has put out as if he wrote it to Darlie, but somehow it made it to the media. And in this letter, he insinuates that he can't believe this deal she was offered. She's never seen this before, and that he admired her for saying, no, I won't take this deal. The deal was to overturn her conviction after 10 years that she'd been in there. So I want to talk to you more about that. Can you explain to us? I'll show the letter soon. I'm looking for it in my files. Can you explain when she was offered this deal? Because I did speak with Toby Shook, and he spoke on my channel, Toby did, and he said that she was never offered a deal. But I believe it was around 2005. And can you, if you know this, can you tell me the connection between Richard Burr and Kathy Cruz? Since we're here talking, and I'm also going to dig more into what Craig Watkins found when his conviction integrity unit went back over Darlie's case. I saw the statement that he left. I'm still looking for that letter. I've got it somewhere. But I appreciate you, Danelle, for standing up for what you believe in and being calm. Right now, you're a real strong voice for Darlie, and that's good. If you had time to explain those to me, that would be great.